And welcome back out into the arena for our second match of the day. Last 64 action from Pro Series 7 and a rerun of the 2023 World Championship final. The winner of that final, Clayton Castaldi, takes on the man that was obviously very disappointed to come runner-up, Josh Kane, although a man who's pressed on and had some other good results since then. 2 times an ultimate pool winner, Josh Kane, last man standing and the pairs event.
Extension call.
Both of these players will be happy enough with this draw and happy enough to be out in action. It's always nice to get out in the main arena table early on in the weekend, get your tournament campaign started. Reminder, we've got 4 streamed tables this weekend, all available on YouTube. Table 2 is available for everyone to watch on YouTube, and for subscribers this game and tables 3 and 4. Also all the action from this table and a couple of the other stream tables over on Ultimate Pool TV. Mark Shepherd and Tony Holgate with you once again for this game.
Red balls in play.
A bit like the last game. I suppose this is something we're going to say a lot through the course of the weekend. Not a particularly obvious winner here. In some ways, Josh Kane, the higher ranked player and the more likely winner, but then Clayton Castaldi, the world champion, and beat Josh for that title, so can make a case for either of them.
Yeah, Josh, super player. Last couple of tournaments been a bit quiet, just for him, because he's normally deep in these events. Clayton, of course, a former world champion, played very, very well in Ireland a couple of weeks ago at the World Championships, especially in the shootout. He was the rock, was the castle. He was absolutely brilliant and showing shades of the form that won him that world title. But then it's a different mindset when you're playing for yourself. Obviously in Ireland he's got all his Maltese teammates and supporters behind him, and they're well, if anybody watched it, you know how noisy they are. What an incredible double there from Clayton.
It's like the Maltese players always play the game in the right way, don't they? There's a lot of positivity in terms of the team spirit. Always an attacking game on the table.
Well, they won the World Shootout and they were fabulous. Have to say that the atmosphere was brilliant, and they thoroughly deserved it. They really did. Taking down the 3 teams that beat them, because they were in the final 3 years before. Each final they lost to either Northern Ireland, they lost to Ireland, and they lost to Wales, and they took all 3 in a row to win the title. So it's a big redemption day that was for Malta. So Josh Kane coming to the table on yellows, the killer. Gonna have a bit of work to do here, even just to get safe. Its only consolation is the red and yellow stuck together at the bottom of the table.
Definitely doesn't want to move that, so can get through to the ball at the top of the table. That's a good shot if this pulls up. Not easy to judge from where he was. He's been odds against getting a tight snooker, and that's made all the difference, because obviously 1 or 2 more rolls and Clayton can see the ball over the pocket. Now he's going to have to come off 2, maybe 3 cushions. Well, not quite as played, and it's a foul because he hasn't made contact with a cushion after hitting the object ball. Still got the problem of the ball at the bottom of the table tied up. Ball in hand helps to a point, but it doesn't really help that much given where that ball is. So he may have to just play the loss of turn yellow onto the red that's over the pocket. And then play a snooker. Doesn't want that going in. Happy enough with that. Because that really changes things, because now if you can get ball in hand again,
yeah,
he's in a much easier position.
Joe Prince beating Stevie Dempsey 8-7 in the end. 7-2 up there. Dempsey got it all the way back to 7 apiece, only to trip over at the last hurdle. But I'll go back to that incredible result though. Zach Cooper beating Tom Cousins 8-3. Huge win for Zach.
Yeah, it's not been a good morning so far for the favourites, has it?
No, Hill, by the way, Ian Alley, Andy Williams. Ian Alley staged a big comeback there. He was trailing 6-2. Cole Bedford on the hill against Rob Chambers is 7-6. I can tell you in the early parts of the matches have just come on. Jez Graham has taken a 2-0 lead against Sean Chipperfield. And the same can be said for Hitan Patel against Tom Jones. Nothing happening in the other two games.
On this table, having got ball in hand, Josh Kane motoring through the clearance as you'd expect.
Yeah, nice weight he played that. Did Josh?
Declan Brennan doesn't get his campaign underway until 2:45 this afternoon, so he's got a bit of time to savour the fact that he could overtake the #1 spot if he goes on to win this event. I don't think that's really a mindset you particularly want to be starting the weekend with. He's just focused on his own game.
Yeah, the old cliche, one game at a time and all of that. But I'm sure it'll be just slightly in the back of his mind.
Well, it's one of those questions, is if he does have a deep run that he knows it's going to be put to him before the match. Good shot there from Josh. Nice straightforward position onto the 8 ball.
Yeah, very assured start there from Josh Kane. Got control of that frame and saw it through. And the man called Coventry leads 1-0.
Inside the top 16 of the rankings now. Had his best season on Ultimate Pool last year. Those 2 titles. The 2 wins were both in invitational events, so no ranking points.
He won the last man standing and he only played 1 match at the end.
Yeah, still one of the most entertaining stories, that.
Yeah, it's an absolute classic, that.
Crazy the way it worked. And he wasn't the most obvious player not to get picked out until the end. It was just the way it was, because his good friend Christy Caulfield got onto the table towards the end. Once he started winning a couple, it was clear he wasn't going to call Josh out. So everything just kind of came together for him. Then went on to follow that up with a slightly more conventional win in the Pairs Cup. To do that one the hard way and come through a few groups to get that title. Also had a couple of quarterfinals on the Pro Series. Yet to get really to the business end of a Pro Series event. Thundering break as ever from Castaldi.
Going to be dry. Bewildered Clayton Castaldi looks at the table and can't believe that. Not only that, nothing really went near a pocket either, did it? Bizarrely, there's always something you think is going to go and it gets knocked out of the way, but nothing actually went towards a pocket. And there's a bit of a cluster there as well, bottom left-hand side. The 5 yellows, couple of reds, and the black all in a bit of a huddle over there. So plenty for Josh Kane to sort out in this second frame.
The The red's the more accessible of the two colours. Obviously got the problem with the one tied up next to the 8-ball. Can get into it off the ball below it, but won't quite know where everything's going to finish up. Can play the cannon now if he wants to. Decides to.
That's a nice shot he's played there. Didn't look much, but it's just giving him that angle enough to try and kick this red that's next to the black out. You see him just pointing his cue at it. What does he? He's got two choices. He could go now, or he drops this in and leaves the angle on the one that's nearest the bag and goes in that way. I think that's probably the better way. He's going to go from there and straight in. Okay. Yeah, I'd have rather had a bit more angle and go on a bit more pace. That was, he's trying to force the angle with side to come away. It was never, so the cue ball's not going to be travelling fast enough to take the two balls out with the cue ball. Hence, he's landed a bit sticky there. Now, can he get a plant? Well, he could though. Maybe just not quite hard enough, and maybe a little bit thin. But what he has done, he's not left Clayton Castaldi an awful lot on yellows. So the castle. Well, where does he go? Where does he even get safe, Mark?
Yeah, this is horrible, isn't it? Because he's going to make contact with the cushion, obviously. I mean, I guess bottom right-hand corner, sort of hide down there. Something like a snooker, of course. But
well, that's probably as well as he could have done, and it's not a bad shot, to be fair to him.
Sometimes you can't overthink that. There just wasn't a place he was going to get really tight snooker. Just needs to make life a little difficult, at least.
Must be a fair old frame going on between Ian Alley and Andy Williams. Still hill. And Cole Bedford still leads Rob Chambers 7-6 in another tight affair.
All started off the season so well. That British Open win out of nowhere. Hasn't had too much by way of results since then.
𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀's gone off to a storming start. He now leads Tom Jones 4-0. I can tell you, Sean Chipperfield has pulled a frame back against Jez Graham and he trails 2-1.
𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀's one of those players that he can be very quiet. You don't see him for a few events. You sort of wonder where he is, and then he'll just pull out a run out of nowhere. I mean, I guess a lot of players are like that because the standard is such that you don't necessarily have to play badly to get frozen away for a couple of events.
So just position onto the 8-ball for Josh Kane. Me, I don't think you'd try and do too much with this. Leave yourself a shot down into the bottom corner. Exactly what Josh has done. Played that very well indeed. And this 8-ball for a 2-0 lead for Josh Kane. Well, it was always going to miss. Never thought I would see that there.
No, I mean, it's not a 10 out of 10 shot, but it's not that far off for a player of Josh Kane's caliber.
Yeah, if Clayton goes out here, that's going to hurt badly. He's got work to do, though. You see that little cluster of those 4 yellows there, they've got to be bumped apart. And I think he could get low side of the 2 that aren't stuck together into the one into the left-hand centre. Maybe he can work from there. You can see he can get on that one. That was the old heart in your mouth one there. Is it wriggled in?
He likes to pass the ball on the firm side. Didn't seem to have hit it too badly. I think it would have been a bit harsh if it had stayed, but nervous moment. Not the best positional shot. He's still got a bit to do.
And Josh looks on helpless at this moment in time. That was a lot more clean from Clayton.
You're going to have to play a shot here, though. I think you have to put the ball to the bottom right and try and either drop behind or cannon into this cluster.
Yeah, he's just having a look to see if he can drop behind. He'd like to sort of straight on this and bring the cue ball down centrally at the bottom of the table and be able to play into the left-hand middle, but he's going to have to come around the back. But he's going to move them. Oh, that's a super shot. He's been unlucky there. I'll tell you what, that's unlucky. He was brave to play into that ball there, and you wouldn't expect just to flick those two yellows together. And I dare say Clayton Castaldi is cursing his luck. Yeah, that's unlucky. You'd expect a better result from that shot.
It's also very awkward. Because
yeah, it is.
What does he do now?
Well, he's going for the thin cut into the left-hand centre here. Oh, what a shot. And he's still not getting the greatest deal of the hand here.
Yeah, I mean, that was some shot, wasn't it? He's basically guaranteed to have lost the frame. I mean, as it happens where the cue ball is, he might not have done, but he's very likely to be leaving the 8 ball. Right, well, finally, he's in some kind of position.
Yeah, this is really good from Clayton Castaldi. He takes these. This is going to give him a lot of heart as well. I mean, this is where your confidence soars, because he's taking out a really difficult finish against the odds as well. Well, we've already seen him pop one that was a little bit even harder into this pocket a second ago. But this will be just rolled in gently. Tap him 8 ball, and Clayton Castaldi will go 1 each with a fabulous finish in the end. Very well played there for the man from Malta. And it is Clayton Castaldi, the former world champion, pulls this match level against Josh Kane.
Really the second frame of the match, but real highlights, real stuff there from Clayton Castaldi in the last frame. 1-1 now as Josh Kane steps up in frame 3.
I can tell you that Andy Williams, he led 𝗍𝗓𝗍 6-2. He's been beaten by 𝗍𝗓𝗍 8-7. Incredible comeback there from 𝗍𝗓𝗍. Rob Chambers, Cole Bedford, 𝗍𝗃 now. Very interesting between those two gentlemen.
Close matches already this morning. And this is also a match that has the potential to end up very close. A few moments Josh Kane will have been thinking he should have been 2-0 up. Somehow Clayton stuck with him in that last frame. More open layout here. Trying to play that in a delicate way. He knew he was going into the 8 ball, just trying to probably leave it short of the cluster. He's going to have to retrieve it from there. He's got an angle here to do it if he wants. That's a good shot. Didn't try and lead too much. It'd be tempting to have tried to play in with more pace than that, but could have lost the cue ball. Just deliberately played it as a shot where he was going to have position. The ball to the right centre, if nothing else. Just coming around to look at the angle. I think it's fine here. Just rolling this ball into the bottom right and run the cue ball through a few inches. A few more inches than he wanted, but should still be fine. He was left a nice position after the break, but once he'd knocked the 8-ball safe, had to play a good shot to get it back out again. Ultimately, fairly straightforward clearance.
There he is, Declan Brennan, ready to play later. Potentially, if he wins this tournament, could go to #1 as Tom Cousins. The breaking news has been dispatched in the first round, 8-3 by Zach Cooper. Josh Kane made a very positive start. He'd love to have been 3-0 up, but it fairly should be after the missed 8-ball in frame 2. Bounced back from that after Clayton Castaldi's great finish to make it 1-1. So another very watchable game.
Yeah, these two both play the game in a very positive way. Josh a bit more understated in the way he strikes the ball. Clayton really likes to hit the ball firmly, and you see a few more grandstand shots like that last finish. Saw a big powerful break, his first break in this match, but didn't get a very good split at all last time.
That's more like it.
That's much more like it.
Cue ball a bit close, but it stayed up. And the man from Malta will like the look of these balls.
Well, what a great position, because the balls are split in half. We've got the reds at the top of the table and the yellows at the bottom. See the 8-ball slightly guarded, but that's the only one.
Well, if you could see a red cleanly, I think you'd take them, but because it's a lot easier to get a yellow, you might attack that one that's behind the 8-ball now, which he didn't. Didn't get me centres out quick enough because he's already played a shot, but I thought for a second he was going to screw straight back into it. Interesting, because now it's getting to the stage where I'm just looking at these yellows. I've actually seen where he can. Can he roll this in and get onto the left-hand cushion, be able to fire that yellow into the bottom right? So just roll this now in. The cue ball's going to be looking at the angle sort of halfway between the yellow behind the black and the red near the middle. So it's going to leave himself a thin cut into that bottom right. And there you see, having a little look. I mean, he could roll it in, play a delicate cut with the yellow that's near the bottom right, and then play the double. He has a big pocket in there, but then I think you're clutching at straws a bit, because you could hit that yellow near the middle bag and knock it safe. Well, he didn't come far enough. Tried to get the cue ball onto that cushion with his short. So it's going to be reroute for the castle. Ball at the bottom of the table has to be next. Well, that was a great attempt to knock it out. The trouble now for Clayton is he's not on it. And obviously the yellow, he can pot over the middle bag, but the cue ball's going straight into the reds at the top of the table. He cannot avoid them. No way in the world. I think he's got to try and play the double. There's no point in playing that yellow over the bag, because you are definitely going to be in trouble. You have to try and double this back in the middle.
Run out of time in the end.
Yeah, ended up rushed, and that's why it was more of a throw the arm at it in the end, because he only had a second to spare. And Josh Kane is going to be delighted to get to the table. Not only that, to be left with what seems to be a pretty routine finish. I think the clock's just stopped. No, I think we're actually having a check. We're having a check there, Mark, weren't we, with the referee?
Yeah, just checking that that previous shot was okay. I think it was. It was just ran out of time. It all just looked a bit rushed. It obviously wasn't the shot that he was wanting to play, but no problem otherwise. So Josh Kane, a chance he may not have expected to get, because after the break the yellows looked pretty promising. Clayton will be a bit disappointed to have fallen short with 2 yellows still remaining on the table.
Somebody just dropping what sounded like a metal cue case in the crowd, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're right, that's exactly what it sounded like. You can kind of tell the scene you hear a lot at pool tournaments.
Yeah, Josh had a little look up to the gallery there. That's nicely done. Stop the white dead. He has an angle now. And he can pick and choose. He can play this and run the cue ball into the rail and come back out. I think I prefer the screw shot, to screw and get onto the last red. I think it's just more control that way, and you can't hit that yellow that's over on the side of the table. Josh agrees and has played that perfectly. So this is going to be 3-1. He's just going to have the cue ball cleaned. Cleaned on his own time, don't forget. And he short his extension, and rightly so, because I think he would have been left with about 2 seconds to hit this.
Yeah, it's all right when you've got an extension, but as you say, it is on your own time, so you've got to make sure you don't leave yourself rushed.
So simple 8 ball for Josh Kane for 3-1. In it goes. And the killer gets himself back to having a 2-frame cushion.
Just the one mistake of any note in the match, which was the missed 8 ball from Josh, which then led to the miracle clearance from Clayton in reply.
Well, I can tell you, Rob Chambers has beaten 𝗡𝗶𝗵𝗃 8-7, so there's been a few comebacks today. Out and about, Sean Chipperfield, from being 2-0 down to Jez Graham, has won 5 in a row, and he stormed into a 5-2 lead even against the man from Devon. Eddie Barker 4-0 up against the Geordie, Brian Halcrow. 𝗏𝗏 Patel 5-1 up against Tom Jones, going very well there. And Shane Thompson has gone out into the arena, and he leads Zach Shepherd of Wales 2 frames to 1.
Just a reminder, if you do want to catch any of the action from the 3 tables to the left of shot there, streams 2, 3 and 4. Table 2 available on YouTube without subscription. Tables 1, 3 and 4, so this one and tables 3 and 4 available either on Ultimate Pool TV or by subscribing to Ultimate Pool on YouTube. This is the main arena table where we'll see all the action this weekend. We'll be playing this tournament down to the last 16 stage tonight, then resuming with that last 16 tomorrow. Playing the final showpiece Saturday night. It's always the big occasion of the week. We'll also have some action from the Women's Pro Series, and as time and space permit, some action from the Challenger and some of the other events that are going on this weekend.
And there is a lot of events going on. Team events, Next Gen, the Disability Tournament.
Red ball's in play.
It's never ending.
88 tables in play.
Yeah. And the flyers go on all day and night. I saw the massive queue last night when I got here. I thought, what they all queue for? And they said, oh, they're playing in the flyers one. My word. There was some queue.
Yeah, good innovation that, having some games going on all the time, because then if you've got knocked out, somewhere else to play. And this is what Clayton needed, just settle himself down into a fairly presentable clearance. Not too much travelling to be done with the cue ball, just keep nice tight control.
Yeah, nice angle here for Clayton. Get rid of those two reds at the top of the table. Just wants to bring the cue ball anywhere in the middle. And he'll be on the last red. And the 8 ball is sat nicely, very close to it. So unless a catastrophe befalls on Clayton Castaldi, it's going to be 3-2. You feel a little bit straighter than he'd like here is Clayton. He'd like a little angle so he could just cut this in and come off the top rail and back in the middle of the table. He's got to force this round a bit more now.
Giving himself something to think about from what should have been an absolute dot-to-dot finish.
Yeah, it's you still pop this in the middle and screw the cue ball into the bottom rail and come back up and have the 8 ball in the same pocket. Well, it's had a couple of little bumps and kicks along the way, but doesn't matter. Clayton will take it, and that is 3-2. The Maltese international gets himself back to within 1 of Josh Kane.
And that's what he needed to do. Didn't want to be slipping 3 frames behind. That's been a fairly fair reflection of the match so far. Josh has perhaps just been a little bit more consistent in amongst the balls, but Clayton's definitely been responsible for the most entertaining clearance of the match. With a party atmosphere going, you can hear the music in the background. Busy arena this. They've got 16 outside tables and then the 4 stream tables. 20 tables in this room, and another 68 tables in the even bigger arena next door. Yeah,
well, the challengers, next gens and everything else is going on now. There's a lot of hustle and bustle, but they're very well spread out, the tables. What I do like is you've got that many tables in that, or in both arenas, Mark, but you're never ever in a way where you queue down and you're interfering with the table next to you. You know, when you have to stop and wait for somebody to come past. Had a little bit of that at the World Championships on the 2 stream tables. And we had 2 singles matches, and you had to keep stopping the clock because obviously to let the traffic go by, if you like. But don't get that problem at these events. It's well planned, and the actual staging where the tables are put is very well done into like portions of big arenas. So there's a lot of walkways you can get around, and there's tables to sit on where you can, you know, if you want to go and watch your friends play and friends and family, it accommodates that as well. So it is well thought out and planned. Nice little bar area and food area down the bottom there in the challenger room.
Extension call.
I think it's a step up as well, even from when we were last here.
Yeah.
It's just slightly better organised, having had the benefit of seeing how it ran once, being able to implement a bit of the feedback.
Yeah.
Yellow balls in play.
Yeah, good old Zach Leonard, and hats off to him and his team. Doing a fantastic job.
I mean, it's a ridiculous undertaking, isn't it? When you just come into a venue that's completely empty and you turn up with 88 tables that you've got to assemble.
I'd have run away. See you later. Not for me, that. I mean, it's just such a mammoth task to ask somebody to do, but Zach and all the guys and the team that put all this together do an incredible job. They really do. As Josh Kane misses that yellow. So it is the Castle to come to the table, trying to level things up here in this main arena in event 7. Obviously 2 events this weekend in the Pro Series. Like you say, we'll have action from men's and the women's throughout the day, or days even.
Extension call.
Yeah, 3 full days of action. We're going through all the way to It's usually pretty late on Sunday night. Josh played that last shot as a bit of a shot to nothing. She missed the pot by quite a long way, but got a reasonably good cue ball, but not good enough.
That's a lovely shot there from Clayton. That really has opened up the Reds. Now, is he completely straight on this one into the bottom corner? If he is, it just makes it a little bit more awkward. He wants to get on that red that's just underneath the black ball next. Gets rid of that and can get the cue ball at the table a little bit. He's in prime position. That's why, just like an angle, he could come across the table and play it in the middle, but he can't. Played into the yellow, okay. The easiest shot's to play the red up into the top left. But in the back of his mind, he wants rid of that red that's below the black ball. Now, if he wants to play it now, that is a very hard position to get on the next red. So, might have to reroute. I'm sure he didn't want to go up here first, but he has to. So now we will plot the one into the middle and now come past the 8 ball, just between the 8 ball and that yellow ball, just to the bottom of the table, and try and play the red at the bottom into that centre and then come up for the last 2. I think it's high risk if he takes the 2 reds at the top mark and then to come back for the other 2.
He's so nicely on this ball to the middle as well. He's just not guaranteed to get as nicely on it. I mean, I know why conventional theory is you do want to clear the ball in sort of zones, but I think I agree with you.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he has to be pinpoint now on this red ball that's in the middle of the table. So he's got an angle, but if he comes too far, let's say he leaves himself the left-hand side of the table where the yellow is obstructing him in the red that's below the black, and he lands himself too far down the table to be able to play the other red and bring the cue ball near the last ball under the black. So I think there's trouble here, unless he plays it incredibly well. And that yellow has now blocked the red from going into the left-hand centre. So now we have trouble for Clayton Castaldi. That's why I know he didn't want to, but it had to come down the table first to make the finish a lot easier.
Yeah, he's going to be ruining that position now because he's going to have to play a really good shot here.
Yeah, well, he has to plot this into the corner and bring the cue off 2 rails and into the red and the black. He's hit the yellow. So you want to go past the yellow off the 2 cushions and into that. But you're relying on luck. Now then, does the red go into the top left? If it does, he's got a chance. This is massive for Clayton Castaldi. If that doesn't go past that yellow, he's in real trouble. Has he got away with it?
Well, it's surprising he hadn't looked before playing that shot, because if it does go past, it would have been an easier shot to have played for originally.
It's wide.
Yeah,
Always going to be tough.
Not sure about that route. This is a let off for Josh. This is a chance he won't have expected to have.
Yeah, he's presented with... I mean, he can go game here, but there is a case for playing one safety shot at least, but I think he's just going to take him on anyway. Very positive from Josh.
Well, the fact that he can take the ball to the right centre and get up nicely on the only one that he wouldn't have wanted to leave isolated was the one on the top cushion.
Yeah, just doesn't want to be straight, Mark. Do not land snug on the top rail. And don't land cushed up.
I was going to say, preferably don't land on the side rail either.
No.
It's not terrible because he's obviously got an easy position onto the ball bottom left.
Yeah, but it's the ones after that. Right, thin cut, cue ball twice up and down the table. So drop the one into the corner, cue ball right up to the top, off the bulk cushion, and all the way back down, past the 8 ball. He's going to try and screw into it. Oh, he's played that well. Do you know what? I didn't think he had that angle.
No, he either had to commit to hitting it thick or very thin.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have to play that yellow a lot thinner into that corner. So when you look at it from this angle, when you see it from the flat, you can see that you did have that angle where you could just put a gentle bit of spin on the cue ball. And that's fine. Would have liked to hit that full ball and been even easier, but still a very good chance for Josh Kane here to go 4-2.
You have to go the scenic way a bit here, but fairly natural route at least. Hit the left-hand side cushion below the middle pocket.
Well, I was not expecting that, and I don't think Clayton Castaldi was.
Time running.
So just when you thought it was going to be 4-2, Clayton Castaldi, the castle, is going to make this 3-all. And a very grateful Clayton Castaldi says, thank you very much, Josh.
Yeah, that was a bit untidy from Josh, wasn't it?
The 3-all we are. That's 2 now. Josh Kane has let get away. Okay, Clayton had first chance in that one, but he knows. He'll be sat there thinking now, how am I not 5-1 up if he doesn't make mistakes? Clayton will be feeling relieved because he knows he should have won it with his chance. And I think, you know, with the greatest respect, he should have gone down and played the one in the middle and come down the bottom of the table. I know he didn't like it, but the right shot's the right shot, regardless if it's a harder shot. But it is 3-all and everything to play for.
Yeah, a bit to analyse for both of them in that last frame. Decision making not quite right.
Frame 7.
It was always a little bit awkward that last pot for Josh, but be surprised to have missed it by the margin he did, and that was why he ended up going in off. Immediate chance to make amends though, breaking off in frame 7.
And how often, when you've made a mistake and given a frame wage, you break dry necks and leave it all open? It's like that's your punishment for messing up the last frame. You can have 2 in a row now.
And Clayton, having been the person that made the original mistake, suddenly everything's back in his court now. Back to the table, nice open position.
Extension call.
Clayton just using his extension just to figure out the route he's going to take on these yellows.
Very light grip on the cue there, just hold it between index finger and thumb. For a guy that hits the ball as hard as he does, it's a lighter grip than you'd expect.
Yeah, I like that because he's got a nice position on the one you can just see on the overhead. Just to flick this one in the middle bag and just push that red out of the way. He's not taking it. I suppose he wants to take those 2 last because of where the 8-ball is. I'd have just like to get rid of them there and then, because I'd feel that I could get onto the 8-ball from any one of those 3 yellows. Down here, you play this one off the side rail and just get rid of the red out of the way of this pocket completely. Like so. Now then, surely got to come across, play the one in the middle, roll that one into the bottom left, get past or down far enough past red ball near the black spot, and then drop those 2 yellows in. The other way's risky, but he does like to take a few risks as Clayton. So now he's kicking into the yellow to the left of him, to his right, should I say.
Just got to make sure he doesn't tie the ball up on the...
And he's missed the pot.
Yeah, that's... Again, I mean, it's not necessarily wrong, but it didn't feel like the percentage choice.
I feel there's too much put on in Clayton's mind to want to play that yellow that's near the left-hand rail last to get on the 8-ball. There was plenty of room to come from another angle. Even if you leave yourself a cut with the 8-ball, didn't have to be from that position. And I get it. But he'd obviously had tunnel vision for the way he was going to go, and that nobody was going to change his mind. That's the way I'm going, and I'm sticking to it. And fair play, but sometimes you've just got to maybe have a little rethink in certain situations. I know the game's tight as well, so that doesn't help. So for Josh, we have a red problem, left-hand centre around that area. But he does have some help with a couple of balls that are nearby. But there's a red that's near the black spot going to the bottom left-hand corner. If it does, that would be very helpful indeed. And I think it does. But has he come down far enough? He want to come a little bit further. If he could run that in and then come into the side rail, kick that one that's next to the yellow over the middle bag away and hold on the other one into the centre.
Does it pot clean?
It must do. I mean, I'm looking at that all day long thinking that does not go past that yellow into the centre. It must just slide off the jaw. That's incredible. Wow, that would have been me homeless because I'd lost my house on that.
See, tight because of the pace he played it, but a clear pocket. No problem with the two reds, but just needs to land on the last red in such a way that he's got a natural angle onto the 8 ball. So leaving a more difficult pot, could have taken the balls the other way around, but this afforded the more straightforward position.
Yeah, nice angle on that. Just punch the cue ball over behind the 8. Played it perfectly. Really good shot. Nice control. It's easy to dig them a bit deep or decelerate on the cue and then push the cue ball forwards and go behind the yellow. Seen a few of those over my years. But that was really nicely done by Josh. So 4-3, Josh Kane now leads once again.
It's not been quite the pace of play we might have expected. Time definitely becoming a factor now. 7 frames completed, only around 12 minutes remaining on the clock.
As our two players on this main stage have returned, and it will be the man from Malta, Clayton Castaldi, to break off, trailing Josh Kane 4 frames to 3. The usual big clatter break from the castle. And that looks very nice indeed, Mark.
That looks much better, doesn't it? Find the corner pocket off his previous break and came fairly close that time. But in the end, the only balls that have gone down are the reds and yellows. And this looks like a nice position for him to press on from.
Red balls are played.
Bit of hamburg queuing for Clayton. Also it's a bit thin into that cut as well on the red into the middle. If he does play that way, the cue ball's going straight into the red and yellow beneath him. And if you were to catch that thin into the red, the cue ball could go into the bottom left-hand corner. As you hear that little bell, and that signals we are now into the last 10 minutes. So after Clayton has played this shot, we will go to 15 seconds per shot for these two superstars of Ultimate Pool. Well, he managed to get the cue ball past the red and the yellow. And how's his landing? Not great. Has he knocked that in front of the red at the top? If he has, it could spell more trouble for Clayton.
Time quickly running out as well, so he's got to rush into that shot. Well, I'll tell you what, under that time pressure, what a shot that was.
Absolutely slapped in by Clayton Castaldi.
I mean, he can't have had more than a quarter or half a second left as he struck that. Felt like we were just about to hear the chime.
Well, if you need a man to play some power shots, this is your man. Here we go. Oh, had to take the gamble.
Ball in hand.
Nothing he could do. He's just unfortunate the way he kicked that yellow behind, or sorry, in front of the red at the top. So he had to try and get in there somehow. And obviously, when you've only got 15 seconds,
Extension call.
it's frantic, to say the least.
So close to being a time foul, but in the end it was a foul because of the in off. So same difference for Josh. Ball in hand.
Yeah, and this again is golden. Very similar to last match when Christoph was trying to do this, but he tripped over, didn't he? Went and played too many safety shots, in my opinion. He did get over the hill, though, in the end against Dave Fernandez. But can Josh Kane get himself 2 in front as we head into the twilight of this match?
Yeah, it'll be a great moment to have a 2-frame lead because the match clock is ticking down rapidly now. I believe Clayton having to really chase after it. And Josh knows that. He's experienced enough at this level to understand the match dynamics. This is the kind of position where 15 seconds isn't too much of a problem because you're not really thinking about anything. You've just got to get down and play the shots. That's why you've got anything to think about, that you just end up having to rush the first thing you see. Tight, but room enough for the yellow. And just the simple 8 ball for a 2-frame lead. Not flawless from Josh Kane, but he's played well in this match. Good value for the 2-frame lead.
He's had a miss black very early on, which you never expect him to miss in a million years. 5-3. I've lost 2 frames in amongst all the excitement. That's what I said. See, 5-3. You misheard me.
You were saying it so convincingly, I almost believed you.
I believe myself as well. Obviously, I'm one of the world's biggest liars, so I'll take my word for it. So 5-3. Josh Kane.
Well, that's the kind of break you want when you're looking to add to a 5-3 scoreline.
Yeah, this is a must-win frame now for Clayton.
Extension call.
Less than 7 minutes.
Josh can't be thinking about playing for time. He's going to have to go for this clearance. Well, I guess he had to go for it if he went for it. I suppose you can bail out before you start.
Yeah. 𝗪𝗁𝗡𝗄𝗏𝗄𝗏 on the hill
Extension call.
against Jez Graham. It's 7-6. So Jez making a little bit of a comeback there. He was 7-4 down. It was 2-0 up actually with Jez to start the match. As Clayton's yellow wriggles into that corner. So all the problems at the bottom of the table.
Very all or nothing as well. Clayton's going to have to play positive stuff. He can't afford to get involved in a safety game. So he's either going to get these and get himself back into it, or he's going to give Josh pretty much a clear sight at the line. Has he come too far for the ball at the top of the table? No, you can just see it. Ooh. Well, maybe you couldn't quite see the full ball and goes begging in the end.
Well, Josh Kane can cut that red into the top right. 𝗡𝗵𝗄 goes into the other red, very close to him. He'll take that all day long. Can he pot that red cleanly? I think he can. The 8 ball certainly goes along the bottom rail. In fact, the only ball that doesn't go in that trio is Clayton Castaldi's yellow.
Effectively for the match, this clearance, if you can open up a 3-frame lead.
Yeah, just wants to plop this in. Red into the centre, leave himself enough angle now so he can pop the one down the rail and bring the cue ball over to the right-hand side of the table. And if he can leave himself an angle where he can pop that last red into the corner without disturbing yellow and an 8-ball, then he's home and hosed. 6-3. That's huge, huge lead. One you think is unassailable. Really, really nice pot there. That's absolutely perfect. Great shot from Kane. Considering the black ball he missed was a lot easier than that early in the match.
Yeah, he hasn't let that put him off, which is the important thing. You can forgive a mistake, you just can't afford to let it wreck the rest of your game.
Yeah, the thing with this, you can roll this along around and stick the cue ball behind that yellow as well. So if you did draw it, you'd stick the cue ball instead of yellow, like that. But he's not going to miss anyway. Head down way beyond the shot going in the pocket. Josh Kane leads by 3, and he will feel job done.
Yeah, it's a nice, comfortable position, isn't it?
Yeah, a little smile.
Golden break's not in operation this weekend, so that's not a route back into it for Clayton. We'd have to make 3 very quick clearances. So around the rest of the room, Zach Shepherd tied at 4-all now with Shane Thompson. Eddie Barker 6-3 up on Brian Halcrow. Sean Chipperfield is being tested. Jez Graham's got 1 back, now 7-6 to Chipperfield. Just needs 1 more for victory there. And then a few more matches just getting underway. Sean Ash about to start with Rob Warren. Christy Caulfield against Chris Hampson. And Ricky Jones out in the arena against Sean Story.
He was playing well in Ireland. Sean Story lost in the final of the World Masters. Very deep run. He got to the semis of the World Singles Championship as well. I mean, those 2 tournaments were running sort of back to back, showing incredible stamina to get that far in those tournaments, losing in the Masters final to Gary Clark, who played fantastically, by the way. The Northern Ireland International. And of course, Giuseppe D'Imperio winning the world title in fine style, defeating Declan Brennan. And Clayton Castaldi, I think, has accepted his fate.
It was a long shot, but now those odds are even longer. Nothing to do here for Josh. Doesn't really matter if he clears up the table.
Nah.
He's taking his extension. He's just going to use up a few seconds, and that will be all she wrote for Clayton.
Yeah, each ball that Josh Kane pots is another nail in the coffin for Clayton Castaldi and his time in event number 7. And he'll be happy with Josh, considering the black ball he missed, which again, I think that would have been wiped away. It's just one of them. Now and again, they happen. Take your eye off it slightly, because ever since then he's been cueing very well indeed. You can have a little go here. Slow roll into the top right hand corner with his sector large yellow. Not that slow.
Well, not a foul, but not in. Academic there in the context of the match. Not enough time, even if Clayton can clear this frame up. Just too far behind. He'd like to get this one though, just a bit of pride in performance.
It just happened, it's when, the match was 3 each. It's just a decision making, I think, from Clayton a little bit. And then you sort of get severely punished, don't you, at this game? Unfortunately, it can be very cruel.
Yeah, it's very fine margins. If you're playing a less good opponent, you can go the wrong route and maybe get a second chance. But you so often only get one chance at this level, if that. Well, it's gone a bit astray. It's going to have to pull out the miracle plant if he wants to carry on.
How about this?
Well, doesn't offer his hand because in theory there is time still remaining, so should allow Josh the chance to clear up. We know the winner, we just don't know whether one more frame is going to be added to the board. rare victory lap in a game of pool, isn't it? When you're this far ahead, you know it doesn't really matter what happens.
Little double. Still running the clock down. I think you're safe, Josh.
I think he just doesn't really know what he's doing with the 8 ball. Let's well go for it though. No harm whatsoever. Well, just plays the safety in the end.
Bizarrely plays safe.
Match complete.
I think I'd have a go.
By 6 frames to 3.
Not quite the grandstand end, but a result that Josh Kane will be very pleased with. He was the stronger of the two players throughout that match. Clayton Castaldi played his part and treated us to a great clearance early on after the missed black from Josh Kane. But ultimately, just couldn't quite get enough chances. Josh Kane collects up his stuff, and as he exits over to stage left, he knows he is through to the last 32.